So welcome aboard to lesson 1. In this lesson we're going to look at what you need to get started up, and once you get a few basics to take a first step on the rung of the acrylic fluid ladder. Please don't worry at this point about terms and names of techniques. We will learn these together as we go lesson by lesson. If I share too much now, then it might seem a bit confusing and I don't wish to overwhelm everyone. I'm about to give you a list of materials needed, and you will need to acquire these ASAP so we can move on to creating and understanding more about this fun technique. Once you have these, then you can watch my demo at the end of this lesson and create your own, firstly, pouring medium, also referred to as PM if you look under video descriptions on YouTube. Secondly, you'll be able to create your white base layer needed for most creations, also referred to when people say, for example, I'm going to start by flooding my canvas. So let's have a look at the materials. Most of these things are very easy to get hold of. Some of them you might have to have a look on Amazon. My first thing is you need some sort of plastic sheet so that you can cover the end of your table fully. And you might think I'm only going to need a few feet of space. If you think you need 2 feet, cover it for 3 feet, because you just never know what might happen and you tip something over and then it goes a bit further than you thought. So I have a few covers that I've bought in the house and I reuse and reuse and reuse. But plastic sheet is definitely what you're going to need. Secondly, to start off, at least a pack of 20 plastic cups, the kind that you would buy for a children's birthday party, that hold about 200 ml. The next thing that you're going to need at some point is a blowtorch and butane. Whenever you order a blowtorch, it rarely comes with actually the butane with it. I do believe B&Q are doing click and collect. I got my butane from there, and they also sell blowtorches there, so you can have a look on their website. You could pre-order it and then go get it from there. Giant push pins, or even the smaller ones, it's just the giant ones give you that bit more lift off the table, and it's a bit easier to get your fingers under your canvas. So if you can't get giant push pins and you've got the normal size ones in the house, that's fine for now. Just get them as and when you come across them. Plastic pots with secure lids. You can reuse large yogurt pots or soup pots as long as the lids are strong enough so that when you turn over the pot, then it stays put and the lid's not going to come off. Giant wooden lollipop sticks. You can get the normal kind, but the bigger ones are just so much easier to use, much quicker, and if your spatula isn't to hand, you can also use it to get paint around your canvas and around the sides quite easily. So that is a must. Next one, a flexible silicone spatula. If you can get a small one and a medium one and it comes as part of a pack, brilliant. But one, a good size one that you would use for baking would be ideal. Bamboo skewer sticks and cocktail sticks. Again, you can start with just cocktail sticks if you want, but when you come across some bamboo skewer sticks, these are really, really handy, so please try and get a hold of some of them. Tweezers, if you can get hold of a pair, or you've got an old pair in the house that you don't use anymore. Sometimes when you've laid out your paint, you might just see there's a bit of something and then you want to get it out and it's not coming out with the end of the cocktail stick. That's when you think, I need some tweezers. Paints. Let's talk about paints. First of all, I would say it's good to start off with a good size pot of titanium paint. You will use this more than most colours. You need to buy at least 500 mils or bigger one if you can afford to, or if it comes as a pack of 2 and then it's cheaper to buy 2, then go ahead and get that. Then you've got your basic colours. They normally come between 100 and 150 ml tubes. These are soft bodied paints, acrylic paints. So black, yellow, red, blue, purple and green, those are the sort of basics which are good to start off with. Then you might want to get just a few jazzy ones just to give your your canvases a bit of pizzazz. So the one on the left is an iridescent colour, the one on the right is a metallic one. So just have a look online, see what you can find. It's normally quite easy to find these on there. These are by Pebeo and they're a really, really good brand, and you don't actually have to use much of them either, because they're a little bit thicker than your normal paints that's on the left. What about a pouring medium? Okay, whatever option you choose, you will need a pouring medium, which you will mix with each paint in order to get a runny honeyed consistency, so that you have a fluid consistency that will move around your canvas easily. So you never use the paints as they are straight out of the tube. You've always mixed them with a pouring medium, and people all around the world are making up their own pouring mediums according to their budgets and their creativity. This is the cheap option that I would recommend. It is PVA glue, and you want to mix that with water, and you will see how I do that on my demo. Normally takes about 30 minutes if I do about 5 bottles in one go, and then it's done and dusted. PVA glue is so easy to come across. Lots of supermarkets have them in their craft section. Sometimes you can get them for as cheap as £1. These are the more expensive options, and maybe further down the line when you've got the hang of it and you want to create bigger pieces and you've got more confidence and you know you're making something that's going to look nice, and maybe you're making a gift for somebody, you might want to then consider this later on. There's 2 options there. One is by Liquitex and the bottom one is by I'm not sure you say Awaretrol or Wartrol, I'm not sure, but it's Floetrol, and they're both a thicker pouring medium, so that you'll need to add some water until it's the same consistency as runny honey, and then you will mix that with your paints as you would normally do so with the other pouring medium that you will make with the glue and water. Storage with lids if possible. We all have animals and pets and little hands that get in everywhere, and it's just easier to have things with lids, so that people don't go poking around, basically. I would recommend when you start this process, you will start small, but believe me, as you get addicted to it, you will find ways of adding tools and paint to your collection. So if you don't have something already, get yourself 1 or 2 boxes you can bring out when needed, and then put out of the way the rest of the time. And like on the picture, also get some smaller ones, so you can make different compartments within your boxes. If there's a Poundland near you, then they also have lots of options that will fit inside and help you to keep your things organized. The other thing I would recommend, not necessarily straight away, but in time as your collection builds up, is condiment bottles. This is available in some craft stores or Amazon. Sometimes you're just going to make up too much paint than you actually need, and when you finish creating, you'll have just maybe 1 inch left over, or half an inch even. So every few months, just take up the caps off and scrape any dry bits out with a cocktail stick, so you don't have any lumps in your paint. When you order these, check how much the millimeters are, and make sure you get at least 250 milliliters. Some are so small it's not worth having them, so just check, because on the picture alone you can't tell how much it's going to hold. Also, sometimes these bottles are really good to use as a very precise tool for laying down paint exactly where you need it. If you've seen chain pours, then you will definitely have seen people using bottles. Often, if you want paint just to go exactly in the right place, if you fill in a gap at the end, you've made something and you're just making some final adjustments, then it's really good to have a bottle so that you can get the paint exactly where you want it to go. And it might be worth getting a few big ones for your white base layer, because you'll always have quite a lot of that as well. Okay, so once you're ready and you have everything gathered together that you need, here are the two links that you will need. The first one is for how to make up your pourer medium and your base layer, and the second video is for mixing up your paints, and you will then get to do your first pour.